don't know if you've ever heard of the expression Christmas in July. Well, I get to have my Christmas in July because I'm having breakfast with Santa. Hopefully you like this edition of Toastmasters in Cars, Getting Breakfast.
Are you okay when people do say Santa about you?
Absolutely. Number one, I have a business being Santa. I don't have the website yet, but I have an email address that's yourchicagosanta@gmail.com.
Wow.
And for my training classes, when I used to work at Canon, I would often have, people call me Stanta all the time. No dash, S-T-A-N-T-A.
Okay. Well, the first time I met you, and actually this was my first spring conference, and this was 2015. Yeah, because I just joined Toastmasters. I remember it was 2016. That was the first one that I went to. I joined April of 2015. And then I heard about you, and I was like, and of course I was not gonna go, oh, Santa, you know, but
Yeah, you could have.
But everybody.
Have you never seen one of my business cards?
No, I have never. What? Oh my God!
And I'm a member of the International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santas. So you have to really have a beard.
You have to not
a fake beard, but in order to be. And so what happens is I start growing it out. I always have it, but I cut it short after Christmas, like in January, and then I start growing it out again in like May. So this is from May to now in July. So it'll get a lot longer and it'll look more Santa-like.
So when we see you at the division contest,
Oh God, yes, I'll be really hirsute. And so I put when I train people, I just say, so I have workshops at my new company, and I'm calling them Santa's workshops. So, or Stanta's workshops.
Stanta's workshop. But everybody else knows you as Stan Piskorski.
Yes.
And the guy who, if people look at the history of District 30 Toastmasters, you have won the evaluation district contest 3 times.
Yes.
The only one is
But way back.
way back. No, but still, the fact that, you know, when I ask people in the district, it's like, okay, start naming people that are really good on evaluation. Obviously, your name comes up first, but, you know, there's other people like Matthew Fox, Garrett Gray, and our wonderful friend Keisha,
Keisha beat me twice at area. Really pissed off about that.
Somebody beat you. That's not possible.
Well, and I will tell you that she legitimately beat me. She did a really good job. And because I would have been with Windy City for most of the 35 years I've been involved, we don't do traditional evaluations.
What do you guys do? First of all, what is Windy City?
Okay, so Windy City Professional Speakers is what we used to call a specialty club. Unfortunately, Toastmasters has gotten rid of that designation. But that doesn't mean we can't have a special focus. And so our focus is really helping people who are already effective speakers take their skills to the next level because they actually make money from speaking.
Okay,
Now,
so professional speakers.
Professional speaking. Now that doesn't mean that they are in the business of speaking professionally. So you don't have to be a professional speaker per se. So for example, I train salespeople. I've been training salespeople for 30 years. I work for a corporation. I am a professional speaker. It is important that I know how to speak in order for me to do my job. And I need a place to get feedback where it doesn't count. And so Windy City is a place for that. Now, we also have people who are entrepreneurs who promote their business through seminars and workshops and presentations at associations and that kind of thing. We have authors who oftentimes authors will make book tours. Guess what they're doing on a book tour? They're trying to make money selling their book. Okay?
Makes sense.
And we even have one member who's involved in an association, the St. Vincent de Paul Association. And he's involved with their disaster recovery area. So he's not speaking professionally per se. He's not getting paid for that, but that is certainly a professional speaking environment where you're speaking on behalf of a cause. And so our perspective is those are all environments where a traditional 5 to 7 minute speech is not enough. And you need to be able to focus on a very narrow amount of topics and get really good on that narrow amount of topics.
So if people wanted to go visit Windy City and check them out, what would your information? So I figured that I'm recording it anyway.
Usually second and fourth Sundays of the month, from 6 to 9 p.m. And we meet in a hotel. And the reason, well, it's expensive for us to meet in a hotel. Our dues are pretty high. But when you think about where do people speak professionally, oftentimes in hotels. So for example, I'm doing 5 training sessions in various parts of the country. They're all in hotel rooms.
Boy, so you're so familiar with the hotel environment.
It's the place that I work.
Okay,
So that's why we have it. And and one of the things we do is, a lot of Toastmaster clubs meet in the same place time after time after time after time. They get really comfortable with their environment. We never know which room we're going to be in or how it's going to be set up.
Oh my gosh.
So we have, because that you will encounter when you speak professionally. You don't know whether it's going to be long and narrow or wide. You don't know whether they're going to be classroom or they're going to be in pods or they're going to be in a U shape. We make it more interesting.
So you really take that to an extreme of when
Yes.
they tell us in Toastmasters, like, be prepared with what your environment that you have, because suddenly the PowerPoint doesn't work, or suddenly it's no longer classroom shape, it's that U shape, and therefore you got to make sure you pay attention because your back might be on the audience. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so back to evaluations. Why do you think evaluation is important? I mean, it's a simple question, but I've seen you, and then of course you've given workshops on evaluations. What's the one thing you stress out to people, because it's a lost art form?
Well, it's a tough thing in the Toastmaster organization because so many people join Toastmaster to overcome fear of speaking, or because they have lack of confidence, or other reasons where speaking causes them to go outside their comfort zone.
Okay.
And so when you give someone feedback, oftentimes the evaluator is afraid to give good quality feedback because they don't want to hurt the ego or the feelings of the person that is receiving the information. On the other hand, the ability to do that is critically important, because if they join Toastmasters, they had some reason to want to grow, and you cannot grow without getting some sort of pushback in relation to what you're doing. There's a real wonderful anecdote, allegory, I don't know what, where a little boy, saw a butterfly struggling to get out of a cocoon and decided to help the butterfly by splitting open the cocoon. However, the butterfly ended up dying quickly because the process of struggling out of the cocoon also removed the mucus that was in the cocoon on the wings of the butterfly, and therefore the butterfly was unable to unfold their wings and died, and so died.
Wow.
Now that's a wonderful allegory, if you will, about what we have to do as Toastmasters in giving feedback. We have to give some kind of resistance so that people can grow. You just can't say, oh, that was a wonderful speech, keep up the good work. They know it wasn't a wonderful speech in most cases, and you're protecting them, but you're protecting them in the same way that, I hate to make this analogy, but it's not a bad one, that enablers of alcoholics in alcoholic families protect their alcoholic member by not forcing them to recognize they're alcoholics. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's good for Toastmasters to be enablers of ineffective presentation behavior. I've never thought of it like that, but I'm going to start using that. I like that.
You like that too? The analogy when we talk about the alcoholics, or just
Well, the whole thing about being an enabler versus not being an enabler.
I can't thank you enough, by the way. So I made sure I decorated our little sort of breakfast here at the Division TLI for Southwest, that I brought Santa along with me.
Well, he becomes a very important part of my life. Sometime around the beginning of November,
Yes.
all the way through early January. So,
Early January, really?
well, there are some things that happen a little bit afterwards, and not all Christmases happen at the same time.
That's true.
I mean, so it's a fun gig for me. What's really hilarious for me is I never, until I had a child, I never really liked little children, and so I find myself interacting with little children a lot.
Hi, thank you so much for watching Toastmasters and Cars Getting Breakfast. Hopefully you liked the episode, and we're going to post another one next week. In the meanwhile, you can click on the subscribe button below, and then hit the bell so you get notified of the next episode. Again, thanks for watching.